yeah, 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 look, ball player, no watching from the side. Said that you got him next, well go ahead and show him why. No limits in the sky, go ahead and take your shot. This one is for the city, let's show him how we rock. Coaches used to call my phone, what you doing?
What up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Up Next, the podcast where we tell you who's up next in youth sports, and some, we also tell you about major players in the game, and we definitely got one of those today. We got a great guest today, but first, of course, it's been a while, but I'm Jamal Murphy, and I got my co-host extraordinaire, Khalid Green, in the house. What's up, man?
Peace, man. You know, the first episode of the fall, going into the winter eventually, and I had to bring the king of the training game out here, man. He might not call himself that, but I'm gonna do it. You know, young brother's doing a lot of good things for a lot of years, and you know, he's made his name for himself, and he's from the Do For Self tribe, so we proud of him. So Justin, humble development.
No doubt. Like Khalid said, we got our guest today is Justin Bright, CEO of Humble Development. Speaking of training, I'll let him tell us what that's all about. Also we go a little ways back to when he was doing his thing on the court. So, maybe you could talk about that too. But either way, Justin Bright, man, thanks for joining us today.
Nah, man, I love you guys, man. I appreciate you guys for having me. It's definitely an honor. Heard so much about the podcast, and I'm just thankful to be a part of this and to help you start with the Get Back for this fall. So I'm looking forward to this conversation, learning from you guys and vice versa, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm Justin Bright from Brooklyn, New York. I started a program called Humble Development where I typically work with inner city talent, basically on the youth side, which grew into the professional side and collegiate side. So I started this about 7 years ago, and it started as, just helping kids and wanting to do something positive in my community, using my intel and my skill set and trying to instill it in the youth in my community. And then one thing led to another. It became a business. It became something that I was able to use to feed my family, to, just do great things financially, emotionally, support, just able to be there for my family, my friends, and create something that kids can call a home, a place where it's unique, it's genuine, it's gutter, and it's me. You know what I mean? So God has blessed me with a talent. He has blessed me with a creative mindset that I display through my training. If you ever watch a video, you can see, like, none of my videos are the same. I probably have over 100 videos, and you would never say, oh, he got this kid doing the same drill. Like, each video is exactly, like, different. And to be able to do that, you have to have a big creativity or imagination, I would say, as well. So I've been blessed with the talent. Like Jamal harped on, me and him ran into each other in my early years when I was trying to pursue a pro career. At that time, we were just two guys trying to make something happen, doing something positive. And really kind of me personally, I won't speak for Jamal, I didn't really have a clue on the business side. We were just trying to make something happen. And I'm very grateful for him. He took the time out, traveled with me, got me in a hotel, all kinds of things, man. He looked after me. This was years ago. And,
wait. Jamal spent his money, man?
Yeah. My man.
Okay. I'm gonna keep that mental note, but go ahead, Jay.
He believed in me. He believed in me 100%. You know what I'm saying? He was just there for me. Just a positive role model. He saw a kid from where that relates to where he's from, that got some game. He was just helping me trying to get there. And I'm forever grateful. And now look at this. I'm on a podcast almost 10 years later. You know what I mean? Full circle is just like divine almost.
Right.
So you mentioned 7 years ago is when you started the Humble Development. What what made you get into it? What made you like, okay, I'm gonna go this route? And did you know you had that kind of talent beforehand, or did you realize it once you were in it?
Well, honestly, I never thought about coaching or training. I was just trying to really pursue my career as a professional athlete, trying to go overseas, even if it was 1,200 a month, 2,000 a month. So what got me into it is with me being home, not pursuing my dream. I'm home, I'm working out, and I was interacting with my community center, St. John's Right. And Coach Lloyd, he has a league where every Friday night was like a juniors division. So it was like 16 and under. And then every Saturday was like from 10 and under to 13 and under, right? And it's like games all day. So I started flirting with coaching then voluntarily. So from coaching led to, training. Then from training led to coaching at a higher scale. We developed a career, travel team through the St. John's organization. So with him having an in-house league, we was able to pick one kid from each in-house league and create an all-star team that traveled. That's basically what we did. And then we had a financial backing through somebody, and they put us in all the local tournaments, and we did very well. We won every tournament. We dominated Brooklyn for many summers, and we only practiced once a week, and it was like practice, but it was like training. Right? I'm just big on developing the skills because it makes the game easier. And then X's and O's come later, because if you put X's and O's before the talent, sometimes it doesn't mesh. So it was like, I'd rather these guys be more prepared in terms of making a shot or taking care of the ball or making a good pass than trying to drill their minds with some X's and O's. Because if they're not able to, do what you're asking for, it won't work. So I was big on training since then. And we just had a formula where we was like, yo, we're going to be gritty. We're going to press. And I like verbally just called out stuff we're going to do. Like, you flash hot post. All right, we're going to post such and such up. Like I had these kids, I had my point guards posting up other point guards. Like if we playing Conrad McCrane, I had Sean Fulcher. I would make Sean Fulcher post point guards up. And Conrad McCrane is a on distance tournament. They had the old NBA rules, so you can't help. So I exploited teams by that. So I got my point guard posting up. How can you double? You know what I'm saying? So just showing them things like that, so much advanced things that coach typically wouldn't give them, because I still have a pro mindset at the time as well, because I'm still in shape, I'm still playing, I'm interacting with these people, I'm playing in Pro City, I'm playing in Dunker's Delight. So I'm just seeing what I'm seeing from the OGs, that's nice, the DPs and the Junies and all these guys, what they're doing, and I'm making these kids do it, right? So they could be before their time, because that's what those guys were to our community. So that's where it came from, and I worked at a program called Steady Buckets, where I learned about where you could train a kid and make $100 in 1 hour, and that was like big for me. And I graduated from that, working for another program called Fast Break. And one thing led to another. I just started my own company, and it was called Humble Development. And yeah, it started out small, and now it's like, I'm not even gonna lie, it's like overwhelming at this point. Email lists, online booking, got the social media rocking. I have clients, I've trained kids all over the world now. I've done events with Nike, Jordan. I worked with Black Ops, New Heights, Boys and Girls High School, Brooklyn Collegiate. So it's like, it went from that little thing, volunteering, to where we are today.
Mm.
And speak about, one thing I've noticed about you is not just that you're good at, I think you're very detail oriented. I think you like to push guys to the speed level of the game. All right, because I remember one time I was running a practice and you even told me, make them guys go a little harder. Because I remember they were kind of coasting through a drill, and I appreciated that. But one thing that I really appreciate about you is that you have a passion for it. And because you can't, all the things that you just said that you manifested, there's no way that's coming together without inner passion. So if you could speak to that type of passion, your drive, and, I'm sure you put together a vision, speak on that for us.
So we know basketball is a sport, right? But it's not a game. Like, this is some real life thing. This is something that kids need to understand, that they need to take serious, that this is not a game. Although you're playing a game, but right now at this point in the industry, it's not a game, it's a business. And when it comes to business, it comes to your livelihood. And you got to take it very, very serious. So even with you, Green, when I had access to you at New Heights, I'm asking you 1,000 questions in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking your brain, like, so what it was like being with the Nets, and what are they looking for? What are they looking for in athletes? So I was just always a student of the game. Even to this day, I'm a student of the game. If Jamal knows more than me, I'm calling him down. I know you know more than me. I'm gonna pick your brain till you're empty, and then keep going to the next person, so I can instill all that information in myself and now pour it out into the kids. So my passion is basically simple. I want everybody in my city to be the best. Like, the numbers have decreased tremendously in terms of quality coaches and quality players. And I know I'm one person, but you could make a big difference, like Malcolm, like Martin, right? You could make a difference by just one kid at a time. You never know. You know what I mean? So that's always been my motto. So I could just always make an impact on the kid's life, or how they think about the game, or how they approach the game. That's like enough for me, because I really want New York City to be that top city, and also have a part to do with it, right? Like, I want to be able to say, like, yeah, I trained this kid and he came from my program, and now it gives me the resources where college coaches or scouts or GMs are now contacting me for New York City talent, because I'm kind of responsible for uplifting the city again. And I'm only going to do great and positive things and putting people in a position to win. So that's what really the passion comes from, because growing up, the number one thing that I didn't have was guidance on what high school to go to. I had no clue about AAU. I was a kid in Lincoln Terrace Park playing ball all day, and I had talent, but if I would have ran into Green or Jamal Murphy or at a younger age, you know, I'll probably be doing better. So now, with me being the role that I am, I take accountability and responsibilities to any kid that cross paths with me, give them my all. Let them know that this is not a game. So that's why you see me approach it where it's like if I didn't care, I would have just been like, man, let Green do that. Let him do it. Let them do it slow. Nah, I didn't get paid to tell you if I'm around, it kind of irks me. It's just my skin. Like, I can't watch bad basketball. You know, not to say that they was doing bad basketball. I know the quality players that you have, they wasn't giving it 110. Right. You know what I mean? So that's where that comes from.
And that's similar to, being a sponge is similar to where I came from too, under Coach Haskins. I was just like you. I asked him every question. I actually was like a real big basketball nerd in practices. I walked around with all the notes and wrote down every play, and so that's the type of mentality you got to have. And I agree with you. Just like, this is nothing to play with. People are making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and even more than that, people are making billions of dollars off of this one game. So why are we going to take it, like lightly? So I appreciate that approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just touched on it a little bit in terms of giving back to the kids, and taking from your own experience. But you played ball, you were good. What do you take from your time playing that you transfer over to the kids now?
The number one thing that I'm really focused on, we all know skills is highly needed today's game. You got to be creative with that ball. You got to be able to shoot. But the number one thing that I wish I did, and I know a lot of people in my era that they didn't do, was the weight room piece, right? Physically, we weren't prepared. Physically, we weren't prepared. Even me being in my 20s, trying to be a pro, I wasn't physically prepared. I wasn't as athletic as I should have been. I was explosive my first step. I had no above the rim game. My upper body strength wasn't crazy. It wasn't NBA strength. So I struggled from the 3-point line shooting. You know what I mean? So that is one of the key things that I'm harping on, that I'm trying to always have implemented in my training. You know what I mean? When I do my group sessions, first thing we do now, and I ain't start this way, but as I kept getting, in the industry, kept learning more and more and more, I'm like, yo, first 45 minutes, I don't care. We doing weight room, like every day. You know what I mean? Weight room first, skill work, drills, dribbling, creativity to the basket, working on moves, footwork, tons of shooting. And then after that, I let them scrimmage. So now it's like, you just got a full camp, right? Preseason camp every day, every time you come to join my workout. And every day is different. And I always try to keep that motto as well. Like, life is different every day. You wake up, you got to deal with somebody. When you play basketball, you might have to guard the top point guard. You might have to guard the best big man. You might play against the best shooting guard. So it's like, I try to make my training that way. It's like unpredictable. Saying that you keep people coming back. You keep coaches like Green interested. Like, man, this guy, he's not even writing nothing down. He's just going off the top. He's like got these kids in a full-blown sweat and they love it and they're getting better. So I always try to just keep it like that.
You mentioned also the creativity part of it with the drills and stuff like that. So how do you come up? A lot of people nowadays, they just go to YouTube and find drills, replicate everything. What do you do differently, and where does that come from? Like, where do you get your drills from?
So a few things. I see drills from watching a game. If I'm watching an NBA game, I would see, let's say, for instance, Chris Paul snake, right? When he comes off the screen, he snakes. So I'm watching the game. I'm like, yo, this guy, he hedges the person. He snakes tight off the big. While I'm watching it, I just create a drill right then and there. And sometimes, like, if I go to a Brooklyn Nets game and I watch Kyrie play live, my mind is like it's going crazy. Because now not only am I picking up drills, but I'm being inspired at the same time, which feeds my energy. So now I'm excited, almost as if, growing up, you watch a top player play, you ready to go to the park and play yourself. You so motivated. So I get that feel and that creativity from that. And also I play still to this day. So it's like, I do things, I try things, and I'm making kids do what I can do. Honestly speaking, like the things that I'm teaching these kids, I can do. Because I'm out there demonstrating it with the ball in my hand. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing where not only is that's where my creativity comes from, but that's where my respect comes from. The fact that I'm able to demonstrate and show you and make 5 shots in a row and lightning speed handle, kids respect that. Because now it's like, they won't challenge you. They won't question nothing. They just have it's like a bow down. Like, yo, this guy, if he could do it, I got to be able to do it. You know what I mean? So that's where it really comes from altogether.
Hey, Just, when I was coming up, and I know Jamal probably could testify to this, I don't remember who was the trainer. Like, there were no trainers. And now it's like a 1,000 trainers in every borough. And we all know that all of these guys are not real trainers. We brought you on because we know you official.
Right.
And not to throw anybody under the bus, but what distinguishes a real trainer for parents that are listening now, a real trainer from somebody who is what we say fugazi?
Well, I say the difference between a real trainer and a person that's not considered a real trainer is just that you could feel it almost. Like, you could see their intentions. You could see that they're following a trend. They're not serious about it, because it's a difference when you're a Division I point guard and you turn into a coach, turn into a trainer. That's a buildup of like showing your leadership and trying to help teammates. That all comes into it, so you can believe the passion, the love you got behind it. But then there's a difference when you weren't that good and you trying to jump on this wave to get some relevancy off another kid, and you're not even treating everybody the same. It's like you just predicating to the superstars because you're trying to be a Hollywood trainer. So in this business, the best trainers are the most humble trainers because it's not about them. It's about the kids. So when you trying to be a superstar trainer, it never works out. You can't be a superstar coach. You can't be a superstar trainer. It just don't go together. It's about the kid. So at the end of the day, you got to put that kid in a position to be successful, and your role is to be a part of that journey. So some of these people that's training, they just in for it for the money. They're in for it because they really care. They love the kids. And you got people that's just doing this to do it. You got some dads who's trainers because they don't want nobody else training their kid. Right. I got parents that come up to me and they're like, please take him. He won't listen to me, right? That's like the number one saying through fathers. Like, please take him. Like, I swear, I said the same exact sentence you said, but when it comes from your mouth, he listens to you. I'm just like, so it's all like, you just could tell. Like, sometimes you get bamboozled, but that's because you didn't do the research on that person who's a trainer. You just jumped on the wave and you just listening to anybody. So for the parents that's listening, I'll say, do your research on the person, look them up, get a backtrack history, ask people about them, see who they develop, like how many good players they got under their belt and how long they've been working with them. And then you do your own assessment and you go from there. Don't just jump into things, because a lot of these guys are teaching bad habits, are teaching extra stuff that kids don't need to do. You know what I mean? Like if I'm doing a dribbling drill, it's to increase your son's or your daughter's handle. It's not for them to do it in the game all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? Right. And sometimes when you training kids, these trainers don't even explain the dynamics of the drill. They just got kids doing anything. So a kid is not even intelligent enough to understand that I just got this drill from Chris Paul doing the snake. So when I'm doing it, I'm calling it, this is the Chris Paul series. So now when that kid go home, he watching Chris Paul, oh shit, he had us doing this. You know what I mean? So now I'm engaging them that way mentally, where they're like students of the game as well. Like, yo, I'm not just gonna make you do this drill and you don't even know when you're supposed to do this, why you're doing this. No, this is a snake drill. You wrap around tight around the screener. You get your guy jammed, and there's a big waiting for you off that, and you go laterally to the elbow to get your shot off, because the big most of the time is flat-footed in the paint, waiting for you to come towards him. You snake the other way. You know what I mean? So I explain everything we do, and the kids get it that way. So that's the key of training and teaching. You have to really explain what you're working on with the kids, because then you get these kids doing everything. And you're like, yo, coaches like Green is like, yo, you gotta sit down. Like, right. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know who's working on you with this stuff, but that's not basketball.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'll tell you another thing, and this is for strength and conditioning trainers or coaches. It got to be a weight requirement for you guys too, man, because some of y'all are too heavy and you shouldn't be training kids. How you gonna tell kids to get in shape and you weighing 200 something pounds and you're 25 years old? That's
Absolutely.
Real.
25 is the key. That's the
key.
You
got to look the part, man. You got to look the part, man.
I totally agree, and that's a big pet peeve of mine. Is like I always tell myself, like, yo, I'm never getting fat. I don't want to get fat. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the imagery, and it's like, how can you say you care about basketball, you love the sport, and you walking around like that? You know what I'm saying? And you this prime time trainer. You know what I mean? Like, if you was so passionate about it, you still be getting after it yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I definitely I agree with that too. In the process of feeling that pain and that struggle and that grind, so you can relate to the kids more. So when I'm doing these drills with these kids, I've done them. I'm looking at them like, it's tough, right? You're like, yeah, it's tough. I'm like, yeah, I did this before. I know it hurts you because it hurt me.
Hey, Jamal, Jamal, not to cut Jay off. Listen, it's a push-up sequence he put me through. Ain't no joke, Jay.
Oh man, I'm saying, I ain't ready for all that yet.
It was tough.
You mentioned now first humble's like a big word for you. You obviously your organization is called Humble Development, but I feel like you were using it. You were associated with that word even before you went into the business. What's the importance of humbleness to you, and what does it mean to you?
So, so my Instagram, you bringing up my Instagram name is a Humble Stud, and being a fan of Common, he has a song called Black Maybe, and in the song Black Maybe, he describes a kid from the ghetto who's like a flat out athlete, like a dog. Everybody loves him. Like he's in the lyrics, and it's a part in the song where he says "humble stud." Right? He's like, this kid is humble, but he's a stud. So that's where where you probably realize that stick with me. So Humble Stud has been my social media name for a while. I got it from the Common song, and I look at myself as that, what he was displaying in the song. Mm-hmm. It's called Black Maybe. It's about Black talent in our community. And humble is just, it's all over the Bible. It's like spiritually, it's like, doing this business and this job, you have to be humble. Don't be a sucker. Don't be too nice. Don't be a pushover, right? But you have to be humble because you're doing a service to God. And as quick as you got it, as quick as it could go, right? And kids need to have that same approach, right? Kids have to be humble and willing to take criticism and dissect what's going on and understand that you don't know more than me. You don't know more than the elder. You're a kid. So you have to, even pros, some of the pros too, they got to be humble because you go into a situation where you cocky and your ass gets sent home, right? Yeah. So humble is worldwide. It's a big time word that people is also like, it's slept on at most. So, and then development, obviously, you're developing, right? So it's like, it goes together. You got to be humble while you develop. And through your process, you'll be rewarded through the basketball gods. And being humble, always remember that God is watching you. So don't do unnecessary things, remain humble. But, like I said, be confident, be living your purpose and do what you got to do. So that's the true definition of the brand name, Humble Development.
And the state of kids today, how do you feel about how they approach it? Do you feel like they, generally, are kids humble enough right now?
You got your privileged talent, spoiled talent, and then you got your kids that's like, these kids are so advanced. They're being introduced to things so early, and most of them do come with a humble spirit. They do come with a softer approach. But then you also have, your pain in the butts that come around as well, right. Which is okay too, because I like a pain in the butt. I was a pain in the butt, right? But it's to get them to understand, like, because I don't like no soft kid around me. So if you're a knucklehead, sometimes I like that, right? I just will teach you how to transfer that energy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like no softy, because you can't be a softy in this business. You can't be a softy on that court. So if you are a gangster on the court, I kind of embrace you, but then I'll try to teach you how to channel that energy and do it in a professional manner. Like a Pat Bev or Russell Westbrook, right? Like these guys are dogs, but they know how to tame their inner beast. So, some of these kids, they have a humble approach, but it's just because they're being introduced to so much things on the business side with how much money you can make now. They understanding that if you got a bad attitude, you won't get that NIL deal, or you won't get that agent or anybody to bank on you. You know what I mean? And Green gave me a good gem when I was speaking to him, that he was saying that when I was scouting, we calling everybody. We called the janitor, we called the teacher, we called the guy who cleaned the classroom. Like, we asking about you to everybody. And that's a background check where it's like, if you this humble spirit, everybody should have everything good to say about you. Shouldn't never be a bad feedback. So some of these kids are starting to learn that and adapt to that. So I'll say most of the kids are coming with a mature, very mature mindset. A lot of these kids are speaking their minds now. They're expressing themselves more now. They're not just all quiet and, mute. These kids are talking back, not in a disrespectful way, but voicing their opinion, which I kind of respect, right? And as a great trainer, as a great coach, you kind of got to give these kids a voice as well. Like, what you guys think Think we should be in the 2-3? Think we should go press? How y'all feeling?
Right.
And whatever they say, yo, nah, y'all ain't getting back enough. So we out the press, meet your man at half. But you give them an opportunity to express how they feel. You know what I'm saying? So I think that part of the game is evolving as well. And that's how I feel about the kids today.
Yeah, before we let you get out of here, you touched on a lot of stuff, but from going back to the beginning, you're talking about being creative. We talked about it on the court, as far as training goes, coming up with drills, but also you're creative in terms of advertising, in terms of social media, in terms of the business side of it. Where does that come from?
Yes. I went to school for business, and I was fortunate enough to, study and watch and learn people that do marketing. I ran into a couple people that I've seen what they've done with their brands, and they've been like, I have friends that owns companies. I have friends that, are big dogs with Nike or Jordan, and I kind of see what content they're pushing out, right? And, I'm not going to say a lot, I'm also tuned into other trainers like Phil Handy, how it took him years to pop, right? And how he's marketing himself now. He got the app. He's using that facility, which is a big attention-seeking facility, right? And he's still in shape. He's able to do just a bit for you to trust him and believe that he knows what he's doing, right? Because all Phil Handy needs to do is dribble. Once he show you how quick you can dribble, you sold on the product, right? So I'm watching and I'm studying guys like that at that age doing it. I'm watching Rico Hines, how he's done it, how he's lasted in the league and made his way and made his name by having access to a facility, UCLA, right? I'm studying, I'm watching these guys' marketing tactics and these schemes. I'm looking at the Drew League, how they pushing out content. I'm looking at LeBron and Nike, how they push out content. And like all the answers is right here. So
right.
I'm basically, this is my professor, this is my book, this is my class, this is everything I need. All I got to do is make the time and look and study. So all I got to do is it's really that easy. And then learn how to do things clean, right? When it comes to marketing and content and stuff like that, you want it to be clean, where it's like almost pleasure to the person that's observing it. You don't want them to be like, oh, this is some garbage. I'm watching this. What is this? It's all over the place and it's blinking in and out. It's too much going on. So you want to keep. So I learned to, like, some of the videos I did recently, like a lot of the kids are like, yo, you ain't gonna put no music on it? I'm like, to me, that's like so old school. Like, music on the content is cool if it's like a mix, right? Because that's where the N1 mixtape came from. They paved the way with that, right? N1 mixtape, they made it where it's like, we're gonna put these video highlights together and we're gonna put the latest artist song on it and mesh the clips with the beats and the lyrics, right? So that's where the Volume 1 mixtape came from. They mix, and it's genius. They mix hip hop with street ball and made it a mixtape / like a bootleg DVD CD that you can listen to your songs to as well and get entertained. So I'm coming to an approach where I feel like the raw, uncut, like just me and you talking, your sneakers squeaking, you breathing hard, you struggling, you gasping for air. I'm more on that because I feel like that's more real and gutter, where I'm going into that. And it's just like the music part is just like a whole nother, but it's working for me so far. The kids, like after a while, they're like, yo, this is tough. I don't want music.
Right.
I like it like this too. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where my marketing scheme come from, just learning and observing companies, Apple, just watching what everybody else do. And we could do the same thing because the same device they're using to put their content out, we have it.
Right.
So we just got to know how to work it. You know what I mean? You got to learn to know what apps to download and how you can put your logo in the corner of a video. You just got to learn how to get the apps. And once you do that, you toy around with it for a little while. You know, like every little toy you get that's new. for you to master the toy, you got to play around with it.
That's
So
right.
you play around with it, and then you master it. It's easy. It's really that easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that answer. You got you taking notes, Green? You got that?
I got him. I got him. I got his number, so I ain't worried about it.
All right, good.
And I know where he be at where he is in the morning, so I just pull up on the young guy.
That's
Good.
a fact. I got you. That's a fact.
Yo, so tell the people where they can contact you, where they can look you up, all the social media stuff too.
All right, so I just developed 2 accounts. I had to separate the youth and the pro, just from I learned that this summer. Previously, I was combining both, and I'm trying to tap into the agencies now and get them to flirt with the idea of having me train their clientele. So I have Humble Development, which is for the pros. It's just simply Humble Development, one word. That's for the pros and high-level players. And then I have Humble Development Youth, where that's straight youth content only. So if you're a youth, contact me there. If you're a pro, you contact me there. And everything, all my information is in my bio in terms of my cell phone number, my email, and stuff like that. And I'm always updating my stuff with content, what gym I'm going to be at, what event I'm about to be doing. So I'm really easy to access.
Good stuff. Once again, this has been Justin Bright, CEO of Humble Development. He's doing big things. Definitely, if you got a young kid you need to train who's showing some promise, definitely go to him. I'm definitely co-signing that.
Or the agents, let's start sending those pros.
Right.
That's a fact. That part.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to send my son to you quick, fast, in a hurry.
I got him.
Also, you're from Brooklyn. What you think about the Nets? What's going on recently? I'm just, I'm trying to get a pulse of the city, of the borough.
You
think about KD. What do you think about KD? What he doing over there?
It's like the true definition is mess. It is a mess, and it's not an easy task, and it's not an easy job. It's a lot of alphas in that organization, from owners to coaches to players, and somebody has to be able to, guide. Somebody got to drive the ship, man, and put everybody in their place. And I think that's what they're really lacking. Too many voices, too many people with opinions, too many. Like, your job is to be the basketball player, professional athlete. Like, it's getting out of hand now, right? Like that part is like you overstepping the coaches, you insulting coaches and media, bro. That's the office job. You guys need to focus on playing ball, trying to get some of your talented friends to come help you win a chip. That's your role. Stop trying to make executive decisions. Now it just leads to a mess, and unfortunately, Steve Nash is getting some of the backlash off of it because, he's a new coach. Yes, he has experience as a player. Yes, he has experience as being a trainer with Golden State and also an assistant. But when you step into this type of atmosphere, when you got a KD, Harden, Kyrie, it's a lot. You got to have more experience to know how to tame those monsters. Those are monsters.
True.
And, Steve Nash has a gullible personality, super nice guy, you know what I mean? And he's tried to put on this facade, but that's not him. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. That's not him. I know ever since I've been studying this game, he's been a goofy guy. I used to watch his YouTube channels. He used to dress like Batman, do all these crazy things. He got a soccer community thing in Soho that he does all the time. So I know his personality. Even when you meet him, he's just so friendly. You need a dog with those guys. Right. You need a guy who's going to be like a Jock Vaughn, who's on the bench. You need somebody like that who can really put them in their place and hold them accountable on the defensive end. And it's no egos with him. It's like, yo, this is what we're doing. That's it. And the guys, to me, will respect Jock Vaughn and buy in more to his culture. No shade to Steve Nash, right? He's one of the greatest point guards ever. But we're talking about the game and we're talking about coaching, and it's just my opinion.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Steve Nash tried his best, but as you can see, it's not easy to tame those monsters. Whereas Phil Jackson was blessed with Jordan and Pippen and Rodman, and now when he goes to the Lakers and have Kobe and Shaq, that's a layup for him.
Right.
Man, I dealt with worse. Mike was
Right.
crazy.
Right.
Like Rodman was insane. You guys are nothing. So
right.
you know what I mean? And then the players know that. Like I said, like what I'm saying about Steve Nash, I'm sure KD knows that. I'm sure Kyrie, I'm sure these players talk. They know Steve Nash, man, you're not like that. Don't yell at me.
And
like,
they,
you know
and
what
that,
I mean?
but that must be what they wanted, right? That's the thing. You gotta want to be tamed to a certain extent, or at least
but it's also this game is built off relationships. Steve Nash and KD has a great relationship. KD used to work out with Steve Nash all the time. KD and Kyrie, great relationship. Harden, KD, great relationship. So it's also about relationships. So it's like a guy like Steve Nash, he retires and all he got to do is wait his turn. And somebody that he has a relationship with is going to call him in right away.
Right.
And not to be, make this a racial thing, but he's going to get the job faster than the black man.
Of course.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? He's not going to get that.
He skipped a lot of people on that job.
Skipped a lot of people, man. So at the end of the day, we get it, right? We understand, but we know there's other people, brothers or whoever out there that can really do the job, and maybe Steve Nash needs to become an assistant and pay his dues before he jump into a seat like that. Where you got like Mike Brown. Mike Brown, who was Popovich's assistant for years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kerr, assistant for years. Look at Becky Hammond, what she's doing. She sat on Popovich's bench for years and then went into the own thing. So at the end of the day, you gotta pay your dues.
They should have called her.
Yeah. So whenever you jump, whenever you skip steps and you jump and you blow up quick, the quicker you blow up, the quicker you fall. Yep. I always say that. Yep. So it's better to get out the mud and process and do it that way, because you're only as good as your history, your experience.
Yep.
Like you gotta experience things. That's what makes you great.
Yep.
So Steve Nash will get there. You just probably have to restart and maybe go to a low level team like Orlando Magic, something like that, and get his experience up, lose a couple games, and go from there.
So in other words, you're not liking their chances this year. That's what I'm hearing. I hear you though. I can't argue with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry to go into a whole deep dive. When you ask me certain questions, my mind goes into how I really feel about it, and I start explaining. But I want them to win because it's going to be big for Brooklyn. I want to see a parade down Flatbush. I want that. But I feel like they're missing the pieces to drive the ship. Once they figure that out with these high-level players, it's a no-brainer. But somebody needs to come in there and be a drill sergeant that's going to wake these guys up, hold them accountable, push them beyond their limits. Because like KD sometimes is coasting. Kyrie sometimes is coasting. They're not thirsty. They're not giving it their all. Just to me, I know they got more in the tank, right? And I could be wrong. They could be playing their hardest, but I think there's more in the tank that they could really give out. And that's from off the court and on the court.
Yeah, I think the team last year definitely was missing a lot of grit, and they have the talent, but talent alone is not going to win in the NBA. You have to have some grit and some purpose. They never seemed like they were playing with a purpose, a unified purpose. They play with a purpose, but it's individual.
Right.
Now it's time for them to be collective with their purpose. And I don't know if they have that, because that's what great teams have. And that's what
it's like I'm playing against you. I gotta outshine you.
Right.
That's not how we gonna win. You gotta get 17, you gotta get 12, you gotta get 11, you gotta get 25, you gotta get 13, you gotta get. Now we're gonna blow teams out.
Right.
It can't be two people with 35, bro.
Right.
That's it.
Come on.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck to the Nets. That's all I can say.
Yeah. That's a fact.
But again, Justin Bright, appreciate you joining us, man. Humble development. That's big time. I'm sure you're going to be doing even bigger and bigger, better and better things with that, no question. And we'll definitely have you back on, man. Really appreciate you joining us.
No, I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank
Much
you,
love
Jeff.
and respect for you guys. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward for the next one.
Definitely.
Definitely.
All right. That was Justin Bright. That was great. That was a great conversation. He's doing great things, like we said. Definitely up and comer if he's not here already. So we need more trainers like that for sure. People who are really doing it from the heart.
Absolutely. Justin is he built his business up from scratch. Very proud of him. He has a do for self mentality, and he really is a detail oriented trainer, and he's earned his respect, and I'm proud of him.
Definitely. So, that was our first episode in a while. You were definitely busy this summer. You had your New Heights duties.
Yes.
With what was it, the 8th grade team?
Yes, 8th grade national team. Want to shout them out. We competed in 14 tournaments, won 9. So that's over 60, about 64%. We lost in 1 championship, so we actually made it to 10 out of 14 tournaments. And we competed on a national scale. I think we ended up number 8 in the country after not being ranked at the beginning of the year. So I'm very proud of those young men. You got Dylan Perry that went to Stepinac, Mel that went to Cardinal Hayes, Sin Folk that went to Malloy, Jonathan and Josh that went to school in Jersey. Got Kamari White that went to Cardinal to St. Raymond's, and of course Ron who went to Blair Academy. So they all did well, and now I'm looking forward to going to their games and seeing them shine.
Yeah, that's a deep squad right there. It sounds like.
Yeah, matter of fact, let me I got to shout out Mason Santiago. Played with us at the end. He went to St. Peter's in Jersey, and my boy Jalen Holmes, who's at I think he's at Roselle Catholic.
Now, do you stay with them as they go to 9th, or you pull in some new 8th graders next year? How's that work?
That was the plan, but we'll see.
Okay. We still decide.
Yeah. At this point, right now, I'm focusing on my book that's about to drop,
right?
Which is called "Free Game: A Parent's Guide to Navigating Black and Brown Youth Through Youth Sports and Beyond." So look out for that book. It'll be out probably in October, and it'll be up on my website. And
congratulations.
I appreciate it. Jamal did a great job helping me edit it. We're here. We're ready to pump it and let people see what it takes to get through youth sports right now.
Right.
We try to walk them through.
Right. That's a lot of the conversations we have on this podcast. The conversation we just had. That's the information that people need.
Absolutely. And I'm giving it to you from A to Z, from the introduction to sports all the way up to the NBA, how to, things like how to choose an agent or to how to pick an AAU team. So it's all going to be in that book, and I'll come out with a price soon.
Okay. And then before we get out, I got to ask you, AAU, you just went through a whole summer season.
Yes.
What was
season.
The whole year season? What was your like after this past season? What's your opinion? State of the game? What you saw out there, talent wise, New York City talent, all that.
Well, first of all, I saw tremendous talent. Tremendous. We beat the number 1 team in the country. They were from Ohio. They had about a 6'8" kid. Who's built like a grown man going into 9th grade. We had to play against AJ. I forgot AJ's last name, but he's probably going to be the number 1 and number 2 freshman in the country. He's out of the Expressions grassroots program in Boston, Massachusetts. Those guys do a great job. So I saw a lot of talent. I think the state of AAU basketball, I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I think there's a lot of shaky and shady individuals, but there's that in America,
Right.
in every industry.
Yeah,
so
seriously.
so to just illuminate or
Might be
highlight that.
yeah.
Highlight that it's just
might be less
grassroots.
in AAU probably.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. And I think it's a sin to just point the finger to brothers in grassroots when we're not making a lot of money, running around with these running around with these players.
Right.
The trainers are not. So, we're just the beginning stages of some of the grit that's in the game, if you will. We're just the beginning stages. It goes all the way up to high school, then to college, and of course the NBA. And again, it's just a reflection of America.
It's fun. It's funny you bring that up because it's funny. You're making me think like how the narrative is, like how people describe, AAU's the problem and all this kind of stuff. It's real funny that all like the highest levels now, they're trying to blame the low level as the problem.
Yeah, well, the low and I do believe that that's a racial. There's some racial insensitivity with that at minimum, because the people that are the gatekeepers are Black. In the grassroots. You see a lot of brothers who they don't even know about AAU. They're just little homies from our hood. I'm gonna take care of them. I'm gonna run them to this tournament, and next thing you know, that kid might be good,
right?
And he's called a handler. But in the neighborhood, or to that kid, he's big uncle,
right?
Or he's his OG,
right?
And he may not know the business side of it, but he did most of what he's doing from the heart,
right? And he's who the kid trusts and should trust. Do you think like who's he gonna trust?
Right. And he might have taken a role in the kid's life that his father couldn't take. His father might be locked up, or her father might be locked up, or whatever the situation is. We don't always know why this young man is filling the void in this younger man's life. So I think that needs to be that context needs to be talked about more. I think the brothers get a bad rap, but there are some brothers that deserve a bad rap. But I think more so from what I've seen and what I've experienced, there's a lot of great brothers that are doing good things for these young brothers and sisters. And I think the AAU world is it's funny, Jamal, the middle school world is like its own entity. I mean, we played in the top tournaments all over the country. I think one in particular, I think it's in Maryland that we played in towards the end of the summer. We got invited to, and they paid for everything. They paid for our hotels, they paid for the van, and it was an invite-only tournament. Everybody we played in the tournament was ranked, so everybody made it out the pool, and we finished in the semifinals. We ended up losing to the team that won the whole championship, and they finished number 1 in the country. So Team Loaded, that was from Virginia. So it's just a world that can engulf you as a parent. I'm happy I did it for a year. I would not do 8th grade again.
Really? Okay.
Because it's so long. It's so long.
Yeah.
If I were to do anything, it would be high school, because it's from spring to summer, and that's it. AAU for middle school is starting next week or now until
all year long.
Yeah,
because
all
you
year
don't
long.
have a high school season.
No, you don't have a high school season, so you're just running through it. So it'll be funny looking at it from the peripheral this year, but I'll be around, and I'll definitely be at all the high school games. And I know me and you said you and I said we'll be going to some games this year.
Yeah, we should go to some games, and we should do some live.
Absolutely.
Broadcasts.
Absolutely.
I got the equipment. I got a couple mics. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. So
it'll be fun. That's similar to what I do with Roden. We go to the Jets games. We go to US Open. We do it live. We can do the same thing from high school arenas.
Okay. I'll set it up. We'll do it. Yeah.
That'd be great. I gotta catch back up on the high school. Actually go to some high school games. It's been a few years.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so that's a wrap for us. Thanks for listening. Of course, you can listen to our podcast, download the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, keep listening. Of course, but also keep following us on social media. We're going to pick that up too, coming up. At Up Next on Instagram and at upnext_pod on Twitter. And then on YouTube, we still have previous episodes on YouTube. Khalid was just talking about all the great brothers that are working in AAU and helping kids. We've had a lot of them on our podcast. So, you can go back and check old episodes. Audio, we have a bunch already up on YouTube, and we're going to add to that. So definitely check out the YouTube Up Next pod on YouTube. So we're signing out. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. At least by next week, we might have like 4 or 5 podcasts by next week, knowing Khalid.
Back. We're about to start working again.
We working. Season's over, baby.
That's it. But peace, everyone.
Yeah. Look, ball player, no watching from the side. Said that you got him next, well go ahead and show him why. No limits in the sky, go ahead and take your shot. This one is for the city, let's show him how we rock. Coaches used to call my phone, what you doing, just got home.